more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. Now let's go here to all right. Let's go ahead and get into the right side of media, and then we'll make our way back over to the left. Migrant truckers sue over canceled licenses. Yeah, it's getting like that. I mean, it is kind of funny how they're suing over canceled licenses like migrants. I mean, if you don't know English, then it is what it is. But we'll see how deep this is.
All right. Well, it's a busy holiday travel season, as you know, alongside getting gifts from your family. And something that the Trump administration has been laser focused on when it comes to roads, something that impacts everybody, is cracking down on illegal immigrants who receive commercial driver's licenses and then wind up driving these big rigs and tractor trailers when they can't even speak English or read road signs. There have been a series of accidents and fatal crashes that have taken place across the country as a result of this. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has been spearheading the issue of getting these driver's licenses to be revoked and making our roads safer, and has threatened to withhold federal funding from several states because of this. California has actually responded to Secretary Duffy's request and said, okay, we are going to revoke 21,000 driver's license from migrants who have received them. And now it turns out that this group of migrants are suing the state as a result.
Right. So they've, in California alone, more than 17,000 have been yanked. Another 24,000 are under review right now. In these truckers, these immigrant truckers, many of them illegal immigrants, are suing. Here's a little bit of what the lawsuit says. It alleges that on November 6th, the California DMV notified 17,299 immigrant drivers and business owners that their non-domiciled CDLs, that's commercial driver's licenses, would be canceled on January 5th, 2026. That's just days from now due to an error with the expiration date of the licenses. A similar letter was sent to an additional 2,000.
Hold on now. Really? Hold on. Let's go back. Lawsuit alleges that on November 6th, the California DMV notified about 17,299, basically 17,300 immigrant drivers and business owners that their non-domicile CDLs will be canceled on January 5th, 2016. Immigrant drive. Hold on now. Like legal immigrant or illegal immigrant? And then how are they just canceling it for what? They didn't properly validate it? Like, how is that even possible? All right, well, let's hear.
CDLs, that's commercial driver's licenses, would be canceled on January 5th, 2026. That's just days from now due to an error with the expiration date of the licenses. A similar letter was sent to an additional 2,700 drivers in December, informing them that their licenses would be canceled in mid-February. For all nearly 20,000 immigrants, the DMV intends to cancel their commercial licenses without any affording opportunity to obtain a corrected license or to contest the cancellation, the lawsuit reads. But let's remember the deadly results of allowing illegal immigrants not only to cross the border and be released in the
dang. Came right after the licenses. Like, look, we ain't gonna cut it off now, but y'all got till February to figure it out. Because, we're canceling y'all licenses. You weren't supposed to get them in the first place. They are becoming a danger on the road. And also, they take those jobs away from American citizens because those guys get paid less. So really, we're just helping out these trucking companies cut on labor costs or delivering their freight. And we're undermining American citizens by allowing this to happen. So, Dems, let's be honest, it's actually a good thing. I'm not sure how they're going to flip it and complain about it. But these guys shouldn't even have license in the first place if they were just undocumented. Like, how is that even going through? But, California, man, they make it work for the illegals, man. Hey, if you're an illegal in California, they'll do backflips for you.
Country, but then to give them work authorization and commercial driver's licenses to operate 18-ton trucks, 18-wheelers on our roads. Here's a list we can show you going all the way back to this summer in Florida. The illegal immigrant trucker killed 3, attempting to make that illegal U-turn. And back in October, another killed in a truck driving incident. In California, they've seen a number of incidences to include there
was the Ontario, Canada one. I think I've seen this crash too. What was it? He was Indian, drove an 18-wheeler while intoxicated, killing 3. Now, if you don't remember this video, it was the video of he was intoxicated and he literally just drove an 18-wheeler straight into the car and just like kind of drove off into the side. That was that guy.
Ontario, where 3 were killed. And just last month, you had in Oregon another horrific incident that killed 2 after a truck jackknife. And then just weeks ago in Tennessee, a Chinese national kills one by causing a deadly multi-vehicle pileup. In
What in the
Washington
hell?
State, you had an illegal.
And here's the thing, this is the effed up part. It'll be like, man, it'll be legal immigrants who will own it. I don't know. Yeah, legal immigrants who will own it, like a Chinese immigrant will own it, start like hiring his own, who don't have the paperwork right, or I'm be honest with you, don't know no lick of English. Yeah, no, hook them up and let them out on the road. The Indians do it, the Somalians do it, Arabs do it. Yeah, they all do it. And it's kind of effed up because they undermine us for their own that put us all in danger.
Illegal immigrant trucker failed to decelerate and killed 1. And you know what's crazy is in those last 2 incidences, the Chinese illegal truck driver and the Indian.
Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get those likes up. Let's try to get to 100 likes by double tapping that screen. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support, guys.
Illegal truck driver. Those crossed in 2023 in Lukeville, Arizona, where I saw the immigrants coming across, these middle-aged men from all over the world. And in California, the Chinese individual crossed in San Diego, because I checked, I looked back at their alien files through my sources of Border Patrol, and you look back at the chaos that the border was, and you realized this is likely going to be a consequence, and yet the previous administration just let it run wild. That's why Secretary Duffy now, to your point, Carly, is leaning in. Here's a little bit of what he said.
These are simple rules. These rules are not made up by the Trump administration. I didn't make them up. These are rules that are set up to make sure our roads are safe. And so if you can't speak English, if you haven't gone through the proper training courses, you shouldn't be behind the wheel of a big rig. You had Joe Biden that let tens of...
What's so controversial about that? That's the problem.
Millions of people into the country, and then you have liberal governors who said, well, they got to work, so let's give them commercial driver's licenses and put them on the American roads, endangering the safety of the American people. So I can't go in across the states and do these checks. I have to rely on this.
Well, here's the thing. Putting these guys on the farm was one thing. Putting them in factories, effed up. But putting these guys on the road, though, and these are like low-key high-paying jobs that could be for Americans, so it's really more effed up. It's like we don't even agree with these guys being on the farm, picking fruits on the farm. We want even those guys gone. Like, what makes you think that we're gonna accept that these guys having CDLs? Like, that just seems all the way off. And considering that these are high-paying jobs, it's even more upsetting. And let's be real, like I said, I don't agree with them taking factory jobs, construction jobs, or even picking the fruits on the farm. I think those should be for the younger generation. Get them off the iPads and shit. But having these guys out on the road and the fact that they were just out there just getting it out, like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, the way they was picking up these licenses, like they were buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like it's downright treacherous.
States law enforcement to help me out. But what I can do, Brian, is I can pull their money. That's the leverage that I do have. I guarantee you that the federal taxpayer is not going to fund their roads and bridges and their systems when they're putting illegals on the roads and endangering the lives of the American people.
What you saw right there is a picture of righteous indignation. I mean, Sean Duffy's pretty even-keeled. He's upset, and rightly so, because you're not just putting American lives at risk. You have been irresponsible. If your state's doling out CDLs to just anybody, they can't read the signs, they can't speak the language. California and New York, and I think those are probably leading the way here, and I'm thankful, not just for us as Americans, but for the people who are out there on the roads. Whether you're American or not, you deserve safety. And these people have to be properly trained. And if they are not, they should not be behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound rig. I mean, this is outrageous. And so thankfully, they're finally making some strong decisions. And
there it
you
is.
Mentioned it, by eliminating the funding, it will finally compel these states.
Like, can you believe it? This guy, this motherfucker right here, didn't even know English. I seen the pullover footage. This man didn't know a lick of English. I was like, ain't no goddamn way. And then, like... Are you serious? How do you get his CDLs and make one of the most idiotic moves ever? I mean, honestly, you could have never been in a truck. You could have never drove a truck in your life, and you'd have known that was a bad fucking idea.
Trained. And if they are not, they should not be behind the wheel of an 80,000 pound rig. I mean, this is outrageous. And so thankfully, they're finally making some strong decisions. And Carly, you mentioned it, by eliminating the funding, it will finally compel these states to do the right thing and get these dangers off the road.
And not every truck driver who's getting their license revoked in California is here illegally.
Yeah.
But the number one point of the government on a state level, federal, local, is always to keep Americans safe.
Yep.
And if there are people who are receiving licenses who are in this country and they don't speak English and they don't read road signs and they're getting these work authorizations that allow them to operate these massive big rigs, and we've seen the footage of a result of what happens. It's frightening.
Yeah.
And it's a very good thing that something is changing.
You know what hasn't changed is the Democrats and many in the mainstream media simply making the case that what President Trump and this administration has done to crack down and secure our border from dangers just like this, that it's somehow mean-spirited and cruel to say if you cross the border illegally, then that's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You should just be allowed to stay, despite the fact that we have laws on our books that
Now, I remember the Dems were trying to say, you know, crossing the border without documents is not a crime. It's a civil, what was it? A civil violation? Wrong. Sorry, but you got it confused. Overstaying your visa, that's a civil violation. If you cross over here, that's a criminal violation. That is a misdemeanor. Not a felony, but a misdemeanor. And depending how you came over here, too. I mean, of course, if you came over here without documentation, misdemeanor. If you came over here without documentation, also trying to transport drugs, now that's a felony.
Congress passed Title 8, Code US 1325. If you cross the border illegally, you've committed a crime. Do it a second time, it's a felony. But yet, here's the AP talking about a Venezuela's family's Christmas, saying from the American dream to poverty, and they're leaning into the sympathy of migrants, saying this was not the Christmas that Mariela Gomez would have imagined a year ago, or the one that thousands of other Venezuelan immigrants would have thought. But Donald Trump returned to the White House in January and quickly ended their American dream. Her two sons and her partner returned to the city of Maracay on October 27th after crossing the U.S.-Mexican border to Texas, where they were quickly swept up by the Border Patrol amid the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration. They were deported to Mexico, from where they began the dangerous journey back to Venezuela.
Did you notice they said immigration? They didn't say illegal immigration. They always blindly ignore the fact that there are ports of entry, there are ways to come to and we love immigration in this country.
I mean, we do somewhat. I mean, not really anymore. We kind of got tired of immigration. Like, I mean, think about it. The abuse of illegal immigration hurts Americans on the low wage side, on the low skill or low wage jobs. Not really, because I mean, let's be real. Construction, can't really call that low wage, and driving a truck, you can't really call that low wage. So we can't even say that illegals are just hurting low wage jobs anymore. They done upgraded these guys to drivers. So, I mean, God help us with that one. And then, of course, they kind of sell us out with the H-1B visas. They let these, these tech companies and other companies as well other industries as well that abuse H-1B visas. They abuse that by allowing these guys to get paid 25 to 30% lower, which is undermining American scholars. So, yeah, we're a bit tired of immigration on both ends, legal and illegal. I mean, we're really sick of the illegal, but even the legal side isn't really for our benefit.
We want as many legal immigrants as the system can handle. But in this circumstance, again, they're playing a little sleight of hand with the language. And this is exactly your point.
Yeah, they want to argue that crossing the border illegally is a form of acceptable immigration.
Exactly.
And to your point, Kevin, it's simply not.
That's right.
And the people overwhelmingly voted across partisan lines, across all demographics, that what we saw in the past 4 years, the border crisis, is not acceptable.
That's right.
And we're sadly reporting daily on the deadly consequences. But yet, that AP article really rubs me the wrong way, because no one wants to be cruel, but we either have a country of laws or we don't.
Right.
And we either have a border or we don't. And that's what this administration is making the decision to say we do, and we're going to enforce it. If Democrats in the mainstream media, but if Democrats are upset about it, then change the laws. because ICE and Border Patrol are not choosing to be cruel. They're carrying out federal immigration law that is on the books.
Literally.
It's trade-offs. There are trade-offs to everything. And we saw what took place when there were.
And here's the thing. I mean, bro, the Dems want to really complain about the cleanup of a mess that they caused. That's what the wild part about this is. I'm like, look, if y'all ain't want to see this, like a crackdown like this, then maybe y'all shouldn't have let them in the way y'all did. Maybe you shouldn't have had 10 million encounters. Like, these are conservative numbers, by the way, but about 4 to 7 million come in. Maybe you shouldn't have that happen and we wouldn't be here. Because think about it, you know how they were literally complaining about the cost of deporting all the migrants or the illegals? They were like, oh, it's going to cost us $88 billion. I thought Trump was about saving or cutting costs. I'm just like, well, hold on. Are you literally complaining about how much it would cost to fix a problem that you guys created? Are you serious? So it was pretty crazy to hear their defense on why shouldn't we crack down on illegal immigrants.
Open borders, and you get Venezuelan migrants coming into the country, and some of them are good people, but then you also have Tren de Aragua and them as well. And they were taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, and there are citizens that are no longer on this earth as a result. So the Trump administration came in and changed that, and unfortunately, this Associated Press piece is slanted in a different direction, but you could see through all of that.
Yeah,
and all right, guys. Whoops. And all right, guys. Whoopsie. All right, guys. Let's not forget to go ahead and double tap that screen and like the video, guys, as I go ahead and get over to the next video. We're going to go ahead and touch on the topic of Epstein. And then before we go ahead and touch on this topic of Epstein, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel while you're at it. But let's get more people in on this conversation by double tapping that screen. And like I said, any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, send a super chat, $2 or up. Or if you just want to support the show, just send a gift, guys. Appreciate the support. Check out this little clip real quick.
So when you really start digging into Jeffrey Epstein, there's one person that you really want to pay attention to the work that they're doing, and he goes by the name of Mike Benz, at Mike Benz Cyber over on X. Check this out.
Jeffrey Epstein negotiated the fucking contract to move the CIA's proprietary airliner, Southern Air Transport, which was busted running drugs and guns during Iran-Contra. He personally was the authorized signatory on the deal with Southern Air Transport to move it to a military base in Columbus, Ohio to service the limited. Hey, any of you guys got any bright ideas about how you would go about in 1994 convincing the Central Intelligence Agency to move its proprietary CIA airline used for covert operations based in Miami to fucking up and move its entire operation to fucking Columbus, Ohio, just to service your personal company?
Yep.
Instead of the CIA? What do you think, he cold called the CIA? You think he just schmoozed the CIA? Or is it because he was handling out on Khashoggi's money during Iran-Contra that purchased the guns that Southern Air Transport a decade earlier was moving?
Starting to pay attention yet? And he's starting to see the level of corruption deeply entrenched and embedded inside the United States government. You can't go after Epstein and not go after the government officials that sanctioned and backed him and allowed him to continue to rape minor children on behalf of the United States government because of whatever role or whatever asset or whatever deal or whatever guns or corruption or whatever the fucking case may be that